Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video on what I take with me when I go urban sketching. Now, a while back I did do another video on what's in my sketch bag. And that video was basically what I pack for a trip when I'm going away. And I pack a lot of stuff when I go on a trip because I want to have a number of different mediums with me in case I want to do something different. So anyway, so today I'm going to show you exactly what I would take out with me if I was going out for a day of urban sketching. And there are a couple things I want to make note of though. Because of my health issues, I never hike super far from my car. Maybe a couple blocks or something like that. But I'm always fairly close to my car. And that's because of my health problems and the pain that I go through when I have to walk long distances. So anyway, and some days I even just sketch from my car, depending on the weather. If there's no shade for me to sit in and it's super hot, there's nothing worse than sweating when you're out urban sketching. Your pens are slipping in your hand, you're dripping sweat on your sketchbook. It's just gross. So I like to sit in the shade, and if there isn't any shade, then I will try to sit in my car to sketch. I can also have the air conditioning on if it's like 100 degrees out, you know. So I kind of spoil myself a little bit. But anyway, something else I wanted to show you that I got yesterday was a new sketchbook. It's just a paper backed sketchbook. It was very inexpensive. They said that this was 5 by 7, but I'm sorry, this is bigger than that. I think I may have bought the wrong one, but let me just look here and see. Well, it's 7.5 inches wide. Looks like about 10 long. And 10.5 inches long. So it's 7.5 by 10.5. And I didn't realize, I thought I was getting a 5 by 7 book. But anyway, it's got the brown paper inside, and I'd been looking for a brown, sometimes they call it craft paper, K-R-A-F-T, I believe. But it's very lightweight. I would say it's probably 65, 70 pound paper. It's meant not for watercolor, but for just dry media or ink. And the reason I wanted it is because there's so much you can do with brown paper, and it looks so cool when you're putting different color inks against it, as well as white. So I was just fooling around yesterday and decided to just write on my first page, and I just put in sketchbook. And you can see how the paper really reacts with the inks that you have on your paper. So I'm excited to use that. And I don't know, I'll link it down below. I've already got a little bend in my cover, but I don't care. I'll link it down below so you can go and see it if this is something that you might be interested in. It took me a while to find a good book that had the brown paper. So I think it cost me, it was under $8, I think. And there are a lot of pages in here. I don't even know how many, but I would say, gosh, 60, 80, I don't know. But anyway, that's that. So now let's get on to what is in my sketch bag when I go urban sketching. There's a number of ways that you could pack your sketch bag, and a lot of this is personal on where you are with your watercoloring skills, what you feel is necessary when you're out and about sketching, the type of products that you use, even like right down to a pencil. Do you use a regular wood pencil with a sharpener, or do you use a mechanical pencil? For me, I kind of prefer mechanical pencils. I just seem to go for those, probably because they always have a point. And I tend to press hard, and it helps me to keep my touch a little bit lighter because I'll break the lead if I press too hard. Also, as they dull down, then my pencil lines get real wide and heavy, and I don't care for that. So Here's my sketch bag, one of them, my green one you saw me pack before. So I'm just going to pack this one today. It's got an inner pocket and it's got an outer pocket. Now, first of all, sketchbook. Always need the sketchbook. So I'm going to throw that inside. Then when you are painting, you either need some paper towels. Sometimes I'll just put a few little paper towels in a Ziploc bag, which I don't have sitting out here, but a little teeny Ziploc. I just fold them up and put them in. Or, but lately I've been taking, as my husband throws his old t-shirts away, I take them and I cut them up into painting cloths. So this is one that I would take with me. And also my wristband. And I've showed you this before. If you're new to my channel though, I've got my splint on here, but what I do is I put the wristband over my wrist, all the way over, and then as I'm painting, I can be painting, holding on to a palette with this hand, dip in my paint, and then wipe it off right on my hand. So I do tend to like to carry that with me when I'm out urban sketching. At home, I don't normally do that because I have access to a lot of supplies. So these two things would go in my bag, and they're very lightweight. Then the sketching supplies. Pencil, an eraser. Now I have an eraser on here, but I would take another eraser. I like the white plastic erasers, but I also use a gummy eraser, so one of the two. I'll just pack them both. And then my pens. I have a pen bag. This can get somewhat heavy. There's a lot of stuff in it. Right now I have all of my fountain pens in here and a couple felt tips, and then in back I have some charcoal, my white pen, and that. But if I were to take this out sketching, I'd remove everything except for two of my fountain pens and one 0.4 usually uni pin marker. So if I'm not going to carry this along with me, I would just say, okay, today I'm going to use my safari pen, but I want to back up in case I run out of ink. So I have this in case I run out of ink, and then maybe another fountain pen. So this would be something I would take with me. I'll just throw those in the front pocket, along with my pencil and erasers. I might even take a second pencil along, or pencil lead, so that I don't run out of pencil. Although if I did, I would just have to ink it and get brave at doing that. Next would be my watercolors. Now, I love carrying this palette with me, but it is roughly, it's about 7.5 inches by 9 inches. So I could take that with me, but it's probably almost a pound of weight. So if you're trying to keep it light, you could take one of these style palettes if you'd like that. I said that I liked this and they're okay, except the Winsor & Newton colors, I find that I have trouble getting them to reconstitute, and they're very pale. Those are Cotman though, they're student. Here's my Prima watercolor palette. I could take that along. That's very small and has a lot of colors in it. I added a few colors to my palette as well so that I had extra colors to take along. So I could pack that. I also have another one that went with my Cheap Joe's leather bag that I showed you with a very small amount of colors in it. This fits in my hand nicely. And then there's my new one. And I think that for my next urban sketching outing, I would take this one with me just to see how I really like it when I'm out urban sketching and if I really have enough mixing area. If not, I could always get a small plastic palette, one of those, or a little piece of plexiglass or something at a local glass store or something like that, just a little 4x6 or something so that I have more mixing area. You could do that and it would be very lightweight. But I'm going to pack this along with me, so I'll put that up with my pens. Then my water supply. I always take a bottled water. It's usually an old bottle that I fill with tap water so that I'm not using, spring water that I paid $2.50 for at the store. I also use a large medicine pill bottle. this is 5.5 inches tall, and it's about 2 inches across. Circumference or diameter is about 1 3/4 inches across, but it works perfectly. And with the bottled water, if my water starts to get too muddy, I just toss it out and I refill it. Now, tossing watercolor out into some grass, I'm not real worried about that because I know it's not going to kill the grass, but I certainly wouldn't dump oil paint stuff or anything like that out into the grass, just so you're aware. I also would take a spray bottle to either spray my paper down or to spray to reconstitute my paints and just get them a little wet right before I start. I usually spray them while I'm drawing so that they have time to work and sit, and then I'll spray them again right before I start. And I don't mean like filling them up with water. Just a few sprays is all they need. Now this fits right inside my bottle, and I usually put a cap on it. I don't know where my cap is, but it doesn't need a cap. The only reason I say I'd cap it is that if I'm moving about and I still have water in my cup, I'd like to cap it just to make sure that it isn't spilling all over. But I'd probably put some cellophane over it just to keep it safe. So that will go in my bag. Now, if I was not taking water and I was going to go the water brush route, I would take 2 water brushes. One that has a thicker point and one that has a finer point. And as usual, I dropped something. So anyway, I would take 2 of those. And then I would skip the whole water thing. And that would keep my bag even lighter. In fact, I would be done at that point if I just took the water brushes. But, and I'll take both. To be honest, I take both, just in case I change my mind, or if I'm in a hurry and I want to lay some color really fast, I might just use my water brushes. But I prefer using a real brush. So I'm going to pack this in anyway, but this is my favorite urban sketching brush. This is made by Escoda, and it is a travel brush. Has an aluminum outside. I think it's aluminum. I don't know. Maybe it's probably stainless steel. Aluminum would rust, I think. And then you pull the brush out. It's very short, but then you put it on like this, and you're ready to paint. This one that I got is a size 8. It has a very fine point when let me get it wet here so you can see. It has a nice fine point, and I can use it for an entire painting, pretty much. This is a synthetic squirrel, I believe they said. Synthetic squirrel. And like I said, it's made by Escoda, size 8. It's called their Versatil brush. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway, so I would pack that along, and that would be my other brush. But if I had some really super fine work or grasses or something like that that I wanted to paint, I can't find the brush that I would normally take, so I'm just going to grab one. I would just take one that has a fine point and throw that in there. Now, as far as my good brushes go, if I decide that I'm going to be going out and painting a while, and I want to take some different brushes along, I would take my bag. I would put my pens in here, my pencils in here, my brushes in here, not all of these brushes, but a few brushes. And then I would just pack it up, roll this up, tie it, and stick it in my bag. And it's pretty lightweight. Right now it's a little heavier, maybe half a pound. But that's what I would throw everything in instead of putting loose brushes in my bag, because I don't want to ruin the bristles. And I do use some natural fiber bristles. I'm sorry. I've been getting into the synthetics more now that they're making good synthetic brushes, but a few years back they weren't. So another thing that I always take with me is a white gel pen. This one looks like it's pretty much empty, but this would go along with me. I love to have that for maybe adding some ripples on water, or for mistakes. I never make mistakes. So that would go in my bag. So that's pretty much it. Now, my bag is not even close to full. Let me zip this shut, pull my ties, but my bag, that's my bag. There's a ton of space left in this bag. I would say it weighs probably a quarter of what my purse weighs. Women, you understand this, but I would say it probably weighs about 2 pounds, and that's it. And that would be it. The other thing I might take along with me, which I've been getting into, is some white gouache. I just use a little lip gloss container that you can buy at your local stores. This one I got from my son because he owns an organic supplies business, lotions and essential oils and stuff like that. So this had a sample in it, and I just used that for my white gouache. You've got to keep gouache sealed so that it stays wet, because it's not something that reconstitutes well. It can reconstitute, and it will, but when it dries, it crumbles and cracks because it has so much binder in it. That's what gives it its opacity. But anyway, that's what I would take along with me also. Something else that I forgot to tell you that I pack in my bag are binder clips. I prefer these kind because they're easy to squeeze, and they don't leave marks in the covers of your book or on your pages. This style, excuse me, I'm sorry. This style of binder clip is easier to carry with you, and they have different sizes. They're big ones. This is a medium size. They're harder to squeeze, and they can leave actual divots in your paper. So I forgot to tell you about those, but I do pack at least one of these, usually 2. They're great, especially on windy days or when your book is getting very full, so you have a little warping of your pages, or they start to lift up because they're thicker from taking on water and watercolor and that kind of thing. So good to have with you. So pack one of those with you too, or 2 of those. So that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else that I would take. If there was something else that I wanted to take along, I would put it in my bag, take it out, leave it in my car, and then go ahead and travel to where I'm going to go. And if I needed a supply, then I would just go back to my car and get it. Also, if I was doing the water brush route, I might even take my full pack of water brushes that I have bought recently. These are made in China. Fit water brush. This is Pentalic. It says PE ... LIC, but I don't know. But it's a set of 6 water brushes. There's some flat brushes in here, which are nice. And there are round brushes. So if I was going to be doing the water brush thing, that's what I would do, is take these along most likely. But you don't have to. I don't worry about all the weight. Backpacks are easier to carry than over the shoulder bags, because you're dispersing your weight over your back and both arms rather than over one shoulder. If this person who was talking to me and wanted me to do this video, she said that her bag is too heavy. So just to review what was in here, there's really not much. I'm going to take it out and I will show you exactly what I have packed. That's it for that spot. And then my pencils, pens, brushes, and erasers. Stick this in here like that. Water brushes would be separate, remember, so I'm going to just take them out since I prefer this. And this is what I would carry with me. Drop one of these erasers. That is it. That's all I would carry with me. So see, there's really not that much in my bag at all. So that's it. If you have any other questions, just leave me a comment down below. If you're new to my channel, thank you for dropping by. Please subscribe. I do a lot of different types of videos, mostly watercolor lately, but I do also do oil painting, pastel painting, Bible art journaling, which I haven't done in a long time, reviews, and things like this. So stop on back, and everybody have a great day.